6:02, we'll go ahead and order the April 2nd meeting of the Weld RJ Board of Education to order. If you'd all take a moment, silence your phones, rise, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Diagano, will you please take place?
Monica Johnson is excused. Amanda Proctor.
Here.
Here. Amy Musgrave just went out to her car to get something. You'll be right back. She's assured me she can get back in. Wes.
Here. We do need to approve the agenda for this evening.
I'm going to move to approve the agenda as presented.
A motion by Director Proctor, a second by Vice President Sassano to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. We have an agenda. Do we have any citizen comments on agenda items?
Yes, we do.
While we wait for the list, I'll just make a couple items here. So during public comment, any questions that get presented during the public comment will not be discussed by the board. Our member board will not engage with the speaker or with one another in deliberation on any of the comments that are made. Per policy, you'll be limited to 3 minutes each. Matters that are personal in nature or relate to personnel matters will not be heard publicly. And per policy, the board does not mediate or otherwise become involved in personnel issues. Any disruptive comments or conduct will not be tolerated. We do have a room full of students, so act accordingly. The Board of Education meetings, including the public comment portions, are live streamed on the internet, and the video is retained on the district's website, Facebook page, YouTube channel. The identity of the speakers and their comments are recorded in the official minutes of the board meeting, which are retained online and publicly available in perpetuity. When I call your name, if you would come to the center podium, state your name and address. And Ms. Diagano, are you ready for time? Are you set up for time? And so our first speaker is Carrie Campbell.
This will be quick. I know you guys are busy. This is to address personnel and my not asking to come back next year. I'm not going to argue with. I'm not here to fight whatever it is. I just want to express my concern for the students and for the fact that I have poured my heart and soul into the kids at Elwell. I'm concerned at the direction that the district taking with special education as a one-size-fits-all solution. That is not what is in the best interest of the students. Very good about not putting things in writing so that it cannot be contested. I'm sorry, my concerns are great. I have students that spent 3 years working, their families, with them, with outside tutors, doctors to try to figure out how their brain works. And now they're going to have to start all over again. They don't have another 3 years to try to figure it out. It scares me where they're going to end up. Will they continue to grow? Yeah. Not the end all be all. It's the teachers. There's better ones, there's worse ones. I get that. They're still my kids. I'll continue to advocate for them. whether it comes across as being selfish or only caring about one group of kids or not. My first 2.5 years at Elwell were amazing. The staff was amazing. The leadership was amazing. I always felt supported. I always felt accepted, especially coming in as an outsider to a very small district that a lot of times it's who you know and how long you've lived here versus how well you do your job. I have made some pretty strong relationships with my families. There's some over here tonight. I'm going to miss the building, the families, the students. And I hope and I pray that decisions are made that will support each and every individual student to the best of their abilities. And that someone's agenda to do what is a work or what some people believe is the right way to go, even though they've never been in the program and asked.
Ms. Kimball, could you please wrap up your comment?
Yes, I will. But to come and see what we do and ask the kids. I do have a couple of letters that I would like to leave with Mr. Nielsen and Mr. Wales from a couple of parents, just as evidences to what my team and my program have done. Not just.
Well, would you give those to Ms. Diagana?
Yes, I will.
That way they'll get entered in the public record. Thank you. Our name is Tyler Brown.
Hello, my name is Tyler Brown. I live in Clearview with 306 Buckeye, and I'm here as a parent and friend of Carrie Campbell. She has been one of the best things that I've seen come into our school program. To say where I'm coming from, one of my children is autistic, and the first few years of his school career in RE5J, I thought the special ed program, sorry to say, was kind of, we went into IEP meetings, and there was nobody who seemed to know him, know the program, or know what was going on. We had to advocate for ourselves and make sure that we were heard and making sure he got the attention he needed. We had outside service and everything we could do for our child. When Liam went into Elwell and Carrie Campbell was there, I didn't have hopes of what was going on. But Carrie fought for my son. I think it's a disservice to the students at Elwell and RE5J for removing her from service, and she does not deserve the way that she's been treated or the way it was communicated to her. I find it extremely disrespectful for how that was done, and I know you didn't want to discuss personnel issues, but it seems wrong for what we've done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Don Atchison? Did I say that right?
Yes. Name's Don Atchison, 858 North Green Avenue, here in Johnstown. I've known Miss Campbell since she started working with my great-grandkids. And she's turned the one of them completely around. And I know other kids in that school she has helped tremendously. You guys are doing a great service to all the kids she deals with, the kids she has helped for so many years that she keeps following to make sure they're still doing good. And I have 2 great-grandkids to prove it. And she keeps in touch with them. I think you guys did wrong by not following your protocol all the way. You think is right. Well, protocol is the right way to do it. And you guys did not follow it. And it's wrong. for everything you are doing without right. And I know a lot of teachers in that school, and I respect every last one of them. And Ms. Camp is one of the top ones for what she has done and does for all of her kids that she deals with. I have never seen a teacher deal with special ed kids than her. I am done.
Thank you, Mr. Atkinson. That'll conclude our public comment. We will move on to our staff and student celebrations and recognitions. Jan Nielsen.
Thanks, President Wales, board members. Tonight we have an audience full of celebrations. And I think tonight we'll get started with All-State. We have a couple of what I like to call out as academic celebrations, which I always think are pretty exciting. And I think last year was the first year that we celebrated All-State Choir and All-State Band for our district. And so I'd love to call up Mr. Balderson. If he'd come up, he's got, I think you're celebrating for choir and band tonight, yes?
Do both. Can I stand right here?
You bet.
All right, so why don't Jessica Balderson, Mason Farr, and Julian Keeling come on up? So I'm speaking on behalf of Mr. H. He's actually off campus with another group of students today. And with the end of the year, a couple of seniors and just everything busy, we wanted to go ahead and do this even though he wasn't going to be here. So he's sorry he can't be here, but he is supporting another group of students. So these three are our all-state musicians. This process started in the fall with auditions where they would perform some prescribed music and then selected. And then they each had to go through a second round of auditions, which was a learning experience for everyone. But first of all, on the choir side, my daughter, Jessica, there were 1,750 students that auditioned for all-state choirs, and there were 3 choirs, and approximately 600 students were selected to be in those choirs. There's the treble choir, which is soprano and alto voices. She was in that choir last year. The tenor bass choir, and then this year she was in part of the mixed choir. And her clinician was Dr. Anton Armstrong from St. Olaf Choir, the conductor of the St. Olaf Choir in Northfield, Minnesota. And last year, it was the first Roosevelt student had been in all-state choirs for like 23 years. And then she's one of an elite group of 3 or 4 that have been selected for 2 in a row. So that's Jessica Balderson with all-state choir. She went down in the festival in January. It was a great concert. I've got a recording if you want to see it. And then on the band side, they have about 900 students that auditioned for all band, and they formed 2 bands of approximately 110 students in each band, and so 220 students total participate in all-state band. So Mara is playing clarinet, and Julian Keeling is playing euphonium. They're both in the concert band, and that is for schools, the smaller schools. And we're glad they're participating this year because this is our last year to be eligible for those smaller schools. Just because of the growth we've had, we're going to be bumped up and only be eligible for the large school band, but they get to participate in that, so that's awesome. Their clinician is Dr. Richard Strout, the director of bands of Whitworth University in Spokane, Washington, and they actually leave tomorrow afternoon for their all-state experience. And there's a concert at 4 o'clock on Saturday. If you want more information, come talk to me, I'll let you know. It's great that these students get to participate in this fantastic experience with some of the high school musicians in the state and learning from these nationally recognized clinicians. And then they can bring that experience back to our groups and just help us out in that way. So we're excited. Do you guys want to add anything? Do you guys have any questions?
I'd love to hear all 3 of you, how long you've been either singing, playing your instrument, and what's next? What are you thinking about when you leave Roosevelt? What are you thinking about doing? What's next?
I don't know. I've been singing since I was out of the womb.
I've been playing clarinet since 6th grade, and after high school, I'm going to do not music, but like community college to get through the generals, and then pharmacy school.
I've been playing for 4 years. I started in 7th grade, and I'm considering a career in music, but I'm not quite sure yet.
But he's a sophomore, he's got a couple of years.
A couple of years ago. Impressive to all stay as a sophomore.
It's true.
I mean, it's all impressive, but you got 2 more years to potentially participate. That's amazing.
Yeah.
This is not a question, but I would like to highlight a few things. One being the fact that Julian is a sophomore. He was part of the class of when COVID hit, and usually people start 6th grade with band, and he started a year late. And he also learned a second instrument to make all the honor bands that he did. I'm pretty sure Mason and Phil think CSU, right? CSU and Combined Life, which is like leagues, if you would, for like, athletics. And just the amount of like hours that get put into this, private lessons. I know Julian stayed after school a lot with Mr. V. I don't think there was like a day I didn't hear them talking about it or practicing. It takes a lot, and it takes a lot of time and effort to be able to learn an instrument, but then to be good at it is a whole other level. And Jessica is also a part of the band. She plays the French horn. And she's in theater. She's a triple, guys. And Mason and Julian are in the pit. Like, they do a lot. It's a lot to be in the position that they are. And I just wanted to highlight that. I know. I've seen them work so hard, and I wanted to congratulate them on that.
The only question I had for you guys, I played in band, but I barely played in band, so Allstate was not even do they require that you know how to spell the word embouchure? And can you spell the word embouchure? You can? Okay.
Right now?
Yeah. Come on, man.
EMBOCHURE.
Correct? Yeah.
Pretty close.
Let's just say, yeah. Yeah, can we?
Yeah.
We're not?
We're gonna shake your
We're gonna be awkward?
Yeah. Because there's a lot of motions.
I'll go back. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The vice president made that call. The vice president made that call.
Congratulations.
All right, our second celebration, for me, another academic excellence in the school again, and it's our science competition. We've got Coach Summers and Coach Gibbs here, I think, are both here. And in this case, they compete in, I'm going to say healthcare, clinical specialties, home health aid event, occupational therapy, sports medicine, healthy living. There's a research section, medical innovation, public health. In this case, there were 76 schools that competed at the state level, about 2,000 students. 27 students represent RHS. Just to put that in context, there were only 35 students from the entire 6 or Greeley School District, multiple high schools. So again, a great showing from Roosevelt, and our students had 2 state champions, 1 individual who placed second, and 15 individuals that placed in the top 10. Coach Gibbs and Summers, you want to come up and talk a little more about, give a little more detail about the program, and then we'll bring all the students up, or you can bring all the students up first.
Yeah. I think Mr. Nielsen hit all those highlights for us. We just want to say how proud we are of all the hard work that all of our students have put in. Even those who didn't make top 10, they really poured their heart and soul into this. This is their future. They do want to be doctors and nurses and athletic trainers and physical therapists. They want to, this is life, and it gets them excited, it gets us excited. And we help them, but there's over 50 different for them to choose from. And we're not experts in all 50 of those. So we kind of learn along the way, and they take the lead. So, yeah, we're just really, really proud of you guys.
And veterinary science.
Yes, that science piece one, always, yeah. We have mostly juniors and quite a few. We had a handful of freshmen this year even for the first time. It's historically been seniors, so we're gonna have some summer and we'll miss our seniors, but yeah, we expect to have a good turnout year after year still.
Get the word out to our freshmen and our sophomores because there really are a lot of opportunities to explore 70-some careers.
Yeah.
So, really neat opportunity.
You guys wanna come
So
on
we'll
in?
bring all the students up and have them talk a little bit about their event and how they did.
Great, yeah, thank you.
Who's going to be brave and soft?
Do you still want to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
All right.
I was top 10 in 2 events. One of them was veterinary science, and I got 7th, and human growth and development, I got 9th. Oh, it's Molina.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 12th.
I'm Miley today. I'm a sophomore. I placed top 10 in 2 events. In clinical specialty, I got 1st place, and in medical innovation, I got 6th place.
My name is Pedro Guzman. I'm a senior, and I placed top 10 in physiology.
My name is Rachel Wheeler, and I placed top 10 in 2 events. Sports medicine, I got 5th, and on my research poster, I got 7th.
My name's Emma Jex. I'm a junior. I got 1st in research, persuasive writing and speaking, and 2nd in clinical specialty.
My name is Sarai Gomez. I'm in 9th grade. I placed 8th in my health career display.
My name is Caitlin Burns. I'm a senior. I placed 8th in health career display and 6th in occupational therapy.
Hi, my name is Jen. I'm a junior and I placed top 10 in home health aid.
My name is Barbara. I'm a junior and I placed 7th.
My name is Adrian Dela Cruz. Me and Kimor work together in public health and we placed 7th.
Very cool.
Board members, any questions?
I have a question. What does it take to prepare for competition?
Hours and hours of studying. So many Quizlets.
We also had to practice for like in-person skills. So we had to work a lot on not just studying from the books, but also in person.
Yeah, it really depends on your event. Like for mine, I like sports medicine. There was like a test part at the beginning, and like if I passed the test, then I could go do the skills. So you have to know not just like all beats, but you have to know a lot of just about your career area. And then like my research poster, and there was a bunch that you had to do like online uploads before the competition. So you obviously had to prepare those and make sure they looked all nice and all that good stuff.
I mean, I don't really want to, I don't want this to sound like I'm plugging the thing, but especially for that clinical portion of this competition, do the facilities, the sports medicine facility and the new nursing facility, I mean, has that been a benefit for you going into this competition?
Yeah, definitely. It's really helpful, like the nurse aid class for the skills portion of doing them. You pass like the first round of testing and then you go into the skills portion. And just working with Miss Gibbs and Summers and stuff like that, really with that portion, making top 10 and stuff like that.
We have 2 students that are going to ILC this summer, so Emma and Eileen are both going to compete. We skip nationals, we go straight to internationals. So they're going to Nashville this summer. Their families for supporting them, so thank you and good luck to them this summer.
Yeah. Where's that going to be at?
I'm sorry?
Where will that be?
At the Gaylord in Nashville, Tennessee.
Wow.
Yes, 5 days.
All right.
Doing the same thing.
Doing the same.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Good job.
Congratulations. 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 Oh, congratulations. Thank you.
So it does happen. We're watching the final season of Cobra Kai, and they went from the Valley tournament all the way to the international tournament. They skipped a lot, so it can happen.
Okay, we got 6
Might be getting there.
Tough time of the year to get in, for sure. See Mr. Walsh. Mr. Walsh out here somewhere? Ms. Albert, anybody here to represent TSA tonight? We got students here for TSA, robotics and drone?
No.
All right, so we won't do that one tonight. We'll hold that one until next time. Our culminating celebration tonight is our wrestlers. I'd like to call up Coach Robinson, who's, I think, with us tonight. Robinson, you want to talk about our
Absolutely.
wrestling season and how it ended up?
My name's Coach Robinson. I'm the head assistant at Roosevelt High School here for the men's wrestling program. Coach Montoya, the head assistant, was unable to make it tonight due to one of his boys has a birthday party, and I think he's like 3 or 4, so that's a pretty big one. So, so he asked me to come on behalf of him, on behalf of Roosevelt Wrestling men's program. We'd like to thank the board for honoring us tonight. We appreciate it. I know you guys are busy. A lot of irons in the fire. Before I bring the guys I have here, I'll just talk about us overall. We're second in the league behind Thompson Valley for the 3rd year in a row. They just kind of have our number when it comes to dual meets, just fine. We aim for February, not the end of January. Second, our regional, which was considered the toughest regional in the state. We were behind who ended up being state champions, Pueblo East, and then state runners-up behind Pueblo East. A lot of people not familiar with the sport of wrestling. Everything kind of has to come together at the Rhine for you to accomplish your goal. Everyone's got to do the right thing, not only in the room, but off the mat in the classroom. It's a team sport. 14 participants are in the varsity lineup, and all 14 of them have to do the right thing for us to accomplish what we did. It wasn't luck. It wasn't whatever. It was hard work and perseverance by these young men. And everyone I'm bringing up tonight that's here is a year-round guy. They do play other sports, but they're also on the mat year-round. And the tough thing about wrestling is it's not like a team sport where you have a week or 2 or 3 days to prepare. You have 45 minutes to figure out the next guy you're going to have to wrestle. And it could be the guy you thought it was, could be someone else. But overall, we had a wonderful season, highest placing we've had in 15 years of the program. And I'll bring the guys I have up now. Come on up, guys, and introduce what I can. So this is our whole lineup, but it's the majority. We're missing our from 195, 215 in our heavyweights. All I'm going to introduce is our state placers. We had 10 guys qualify overall, 7 placed. Pueblo East, who beat us, had 14 qualify, and I think 11 placed. So it's a numbers game when it's wrestling. Who can score the most points? First off, I'll introduce Cal. He's a freshman, placed 3rd at the state tournament. In that road, he beat 2 guys that had beat him previously in the season, and 1 gentleman that he'd never beat before. So that's a huge, huge accomplishment. Next up, Steve Mora. Ethan came to us from another school his senior year. Great bolt on to the team. I mean, scored us a lot of points when it counted. He ended up third at the state tournament. Lost in the quarterfinals in a very questionable call that almost cost my seat at the state tournament. But we can't beat the guy handily. It was definitely that the gentleman got lucky the first match, and we were the dominant wrestler the next match. He's a senior. He'll be leaving us, hopefully going on to another room. Travis Long is our next one, 4-time state placer for the Roosevelt High School. He placed third this year. Been with Travis for a long time. Unless you're standing at the top of the game on Saturday night, you never accomplish your goal. But everything he's done in his career for Roosevelt High School and internationally and nationally is a tribute. He's gone on to the next level at D1. That's pretty amazing. Malachi Martin finished runner-up for us, freshman. Guy we lost to in the state finals, beat the week prior. And it's tough to beat a good opponent 2 times in a row. So he was just better than us for about 12 seconds of that match, and that was it. I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Chris Lalonde, junior, and won his second state championship for Roosevelt High School for us. So one more year with him. Another one, just amazed with what he does on and off the mat program. And then Thomas Dunn placed 6th for us. Thomas didn't qualify for the state tournament last year and came and upset 2 guys that had his number earlier in the year. So the other gentlemen, Hudson, Caleb, Peanut, or Peyton, sorry, didn't place. Hudson and Caleb qualified for us. First, they got to go downtown. Peyton was our 150-pounder, although he weighed 141 on a bad day. He stepped into the lineup, scored a lot of points for us, needed it, and got us our 2nd place at regionals. And also worked out with these guys and helped them prepare. And Jacobo was a freshman, stepped in at 150s, bumped up to 157s. We thought statistically we'd be better off there. Sometimes you gamble doesn't pay off, but he's only a freshman, 1 round away from going to the state event. And we're excited. We're graduating 2 seniors. They're hard to replace. You know, Travis, I don't know if you know how wrestling works, but Travis scored bonus points in almost every match, which means he scored the maximum amount of points you can score in a wrestling match. So those are hard points to replace, but we'll get it done with what we have and what we have coming up and our JV guys. So super proud of these guys. They're dying to answer any questions you have for them. But I'll give them the floor, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Any questions? How many of you plan to wrestle when you leave Roosevelt? So it's had an impact on, that's cool, awesome. How many of you have multiple years left? Raise your hand again if you're, that was pretty amazing being down at state, hearing how young we are. Testament to the program that's being built, which is pretty neat, so kudos. Members, any questions any of you have?
Well, in the old building, the wrestling team used to run H's.
We run U's.
Okay, that's what I was
go up the stairs, down the hall, down the stairs, down the hall, over the top, back down the hall, down the stairs, and around.
All right.
I give them equal about 1 mile and a 10th. So.
That tradition's carrying on.
Yeah, we just had to rename it and retime them. So.
All right.
Let's do this.
Good job. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Where are you going to?
Congratulations.
Good job. Good job. Let's go.
Hey, thank you.
It's middle school.
Did you ever wrestle? How do you remember these?
Oh, because they were always, I mean, that's all we did. So if you were like doing anything after school, you had to like dodge your wrestling doing the ages.
I think that concludes celebrations for tonight.
We don't have middle school
The middle school,
wrestling?
No.
Oh, okay.
not tonight.
Okay. Any other celebrations? All right, we'll move on to reports and comments for board members.
Take a recess.
Oh.
Folks leave.
Hey, you want to hear us talk? We can take a quick recess if you guys want to get out of here. Get the sun out of your eyes.
The meeting is so exciting.
Yeah. Why don't we reconvene at 6:45?
It's not exciting.
All right. Oop, I'll wait for the.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the enrollment.
All right, we'll go ahead and reconvene. And we are at reports and comments from board members. Now we'll,
Reports, I can start.
okay.
I have my notes. Okay, so I got the pleasure one evening of, there was that big track meet with, I don't know, you were here with University, like I felt like 1,000 schools here, like 10 schools. But it was really interesting to see how the space was utilized so many schools. I don't go to a lot of track meets personally, like as a student or as an adult, so it was really interesting to see I could set up and use that space. So that was really fun to see. The other thing is I got to go to the Milliken Elementary School and read for Knights Club again. It's my second time this year. It's such a great program. I appreciate Mr. Ross and Carrie, the para, who put on that. They do a really great job with the kids. The kids are really highly engaged. It happened to be athletic day or something. They were going on a field trip to TRPR, and they all had to tell me about what clothes they were wearing, how fast they could run in their shoes, which is always really fun to be there. We read a book about LeBron James, and they asked me questions. I have no idea how to answer them, but they're really interested. So I really appreciate that program a lot. I'm glad it's there for the community. There's still open spots to read. I asked Mr. Ross if they had filled them. I know about mid-year they had a lot of opening spots. If anybody in the community wants to read, it's only half an hour. Those kids are fantastic. And Mr. Ross is really great at running that. And the last thing was the District Accountability Committee. It has been a bear to be on this year. It's been a lot of meetings, a lot of talking. And so I appreciate everybody being on that. It takes a lot of time to do it. A lot of the principals are in most of those meetings. And it stretches your brain, and it's just a lot of time away from your families. And so I appreciate people doing that. I'll let Scott unveil the end product of that, but thanks for doing that, and I appreciate them for partaking a part of that this year.
Thank you for being a part of that. It can be very time consuming.
It was a lot. Tammy gave me like 12 meetings or something, I feel like. I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot. Maybe like 8, but it was a lot. It was a lot of meetings this year. Usually DAC is 3, maybe 4 meetings, and I think it was like 1. I think we're going to average 1 this year.
Well, that's good. Good stuff gets done.
My turn. I don't have a lot. I went to the RMS choir concert a couple of weeks ago because one of my kids is in the RMS choir. It was really cool to see that program growing. It's been growing every year. There were probably 150 kids total in that group, and it's just really neat to see. Along those same lines, went to the NJHS induction ceremony because one of my kids is in that. Again, about 40 kids got inducted into NJHS, and I don't know how that compares to other chapters, but it seemed like a lot of kids sitting up on the stage. And it was at RMS and the auditoriums. It was nice to see that space being used again.
Yeah.
In that way. So that was cool. And then along those things, I don't know how many school boards of education do what we just did and celebrate kids the way we did. And it's cool to see every time, but one thing I really appreciate is I think most school boards probably celebrate their athletes because that's what the community sees. The wrestlers, the football players, the volleyball players, the swimmers, those kind of folks. Tonight we celebrated musicians, we celebrated some academic stuff, and some athletes. And I think that's really cool. So I'm glad to see all of those folks getting some recognition in our district. So.
I really don't have anything. I kind of just sick, traveled a little, worked a lot of overtime. I need to get a hold of some of those SCOSA kids though. In service with Stryker, where I learned how to win some new plates, follow guns. My father, I'm really dressed to make school, we can practice on. But yeah, I'm sorry, I did not do any district events. I took care of a few children.
It's important.
It went through the house. It was good. Except for me, because I'm a nurse. I've already had it.
I don't have a whole lot either. Yeah, I was at the middle school, and it's really cool to see. What's really cool is I just sit there. If you ever come to a track meet me, I just sit there and I listen, and it's so fun to listen, especially at this facility. And admittedly, I'm wearing the colors of another school when I'm here at track meets, so they don't even associate me with this facility at all. And it's really cool to hear all the praise and about how that field is. I mean, I've heard so many coaches and assistant coaches talk about, oh, there's only one school to have that track, and you got to go to Roosevelt because they're just set up to handle this and do that. So it's really good. I do have to complain a little bit about how you move around at the track. So this is my walk. I take it pretty much everywhere I go. And when I came to the meet, I parked way in the west of the lot. And I walked all the way in, and I walked all the way around to the high jump, and I stood, and one of my girls came over to me. She says, why aren't you coming in the infield? I said, I don't know they're letting coaches in the infield. She says, yeah, you have to go back up here, and there's a red gate, and you walk through that gate. So I grabbed all my stuff, I walked through the gate, sat down, set up my camp, was doing good for about an hour. I was like, I'm thirsty. And I reached for my cup, and it wasn't there. And I remember taking it out of the car, all in the west end of the parking lot, and setting it on top of my car, and I thought, dang it. So I got up and I walked all the way back out, up on the plaza, back through to my car. It wasn't there. As I'm sitting in my car, I'm thinking, if it is at the fence that was 10 feet away from where I set up my camp, I'm going to be really upset. After I walked all the way back down the plaza, around the track, through the gate, to the camp, there it was. So
You got your steps.
I got plenty of steps that day. So we need to put another gate in there somewhere where we can get parking lot. That's what I'm trying to say. But no, that was a great meet, and there's 2 more really big ones coming to this facility this year. So if you missed that first one, you can catch up.
I know Hussey's the big one we do, is where we honor our seniors, and everyone comes to that. And then we host the last track meet, like, in the state before state championships, so everyone and their mother wants to come to that one.
Yeah, that last chance qualifier. In all seriousness, I haven't had a whole lot going on. Been busy with legislative review committee. A lot of bills this year, as we've talked about. Most of those are sitting in committees right now, so there's lots of rewrites happening on those. But if there's anything that piques your interest, especially for education, let me know, and we can definitely get our voice made at that level. BOCES is going to do their graduation. Is Dave sitting out here?
That's 13.
Of May. Yep.
4 o'clock.
So the Innovation School will do their graduation here.
Do we have students in BOCES school this year?
I'm sorry, pardon me?
Do we have students in the BOCES school this year?
Yes.
How many?
I think we're down to 24.
Okay,
We were at the meeting tonight, mark 20.
thank you.
We probably have about 8 or 10. Those are seniors, graduates. Just like that.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
But yeah,
Great to be here.
I'll try to send an email to remind you guys of that. It's always good for those kids to just see that, because they're part of this community, and if we can be there to support them, even more so. That is all I have. Ladies.
Yeah, so I can kick it off. The month of like March and approaching April has definitely been a busy one on the student perspective. So I had the chance to volunteer at the KQA Family Night through Interact. That was super cool. The kids were so excited with all of the different vendors and thinking about all the different things they wanted to teach me. So that was really fun to partner and kind of see what they're to. I've been working with our Rotary Club on the Teen Impact Awards that will be hosted tomorrow night. I've been interviewing those winners, and we have some amazing youth in our community, and so it's been so cool getting to sit down, talk with each and every one of them, and of course recognize them tomorrow night. NHS, our prom dress drive just reached its conclusion, so we gathered, I believe, over 100 dresses, as a variety of like dresses, so prom dresses, homecoming dresses, and so we're still working on distributing those, but I hope it will at least make a little bit of an impact for the students who need it or just don't want to pay for a dress. I got to see our Roosevelt Middle School.
Wait, does that apply to dads who don't want to pay for dresses?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can come pick them out too. So I got to watch our Roosevelt Middle School at the State Leadership Conference. I'm one of our state officers for Colorado FBLA, and it was a pleasure to watch the program grow and flourish. The workshops, they were active, and so it's been really, really incredible watching what they're doing, and they'll obviously feed into our high school program, which is really, really exciting. And then the last thing I technically attended would be our CTE Advisory Board night. I sit on that board for business, but also help to advise with health sciences. So we were able to connect with those industry professionals. Roosevelt Middle School hosted that along with our catering and their catering programs. And it was really, really great to see the growth of our programs as we're concluding the year. And yeah, it was our Sources of Strength Spirit Week. So I went to that glow dance that they put on. It was lots of fun. Brooklyn talked me into going, but yeah, they did a great job putting that on, promoting kindness, and creating the activities for our students.
So, second week of last month, I was invited to by the St. Vrain School District. Admittedly, that's because both my parents graduated from the district, and my mom coached basketball at Norwood High School. She has a connection with a woman named Carrie Adams. She's teaching at Silver Creek High School, I think now. Anyways, St. Vrain does this thing, it's called Doing Democracy Day. And they basically, all of the junior students within their district go to the Longmont History Museum for a day. And it's like a competition. Basically, they all are given a different topic. And there's different topics each year. And the topic I was asked to cover was students serving on the school board and getting vote in elections, specifically for those student representatives. And they have an hour or two to come up and ask me questions. Then they would make their slideshow presentation, and then they would present it to a panel of judges. I was asked to be a judge, but I took my grandparents out for their birthdays. And then they would get scored and everything, and I'm pretty sure all of the juniors were required to do it, but it was really cool to see all of the adults, because I wasn't just the only speaker there. There was representatives from Boulder County, the voter's office. There was a couple. I think I was the only student representative there talking about it, but it was really cool to see the perspective of the people from the voting office. They had the Boulder County League of Women's Voters there, and I got to talk to them extensively about voter registration and some of the programs that they've been doing down in their district. And it was a really great experience just to see, because what they're trying to implement is where 16 to 17-year-old students within the district would vote on student representatives, and they would hold an election. And I kind of had a unique perspective, because obviously Annabelle and I were not elected to this position, but we went through we are still student representatives, we are still a part of the school board, and through more of an application process. So that was really cool to have that kind of perspective on it. I got to talk to the mayor of Firestone and make that connection, and it's given me a lot of perspective on what I want to, some things I want to focus on in my tenure here as student representative, so that was really awesome. Last week on Friday, our concert band went to their first concert band festival in about 5 years. I think the last time we went was the year before COVID, it was 2019. And that was really cool. We scored an excellent rating, which is the second highest rating you can accumulate. And I didn't get to stay the whole time because I have a track meet. But it was really cool to talk to all the students, and band is just a different environment. Everyone's supportive. Like, yes, you're competing against the other bands, but there's no rankings at these festivals, and you get feedback. The clinician was amazing, and I know the other students got to go through master classes. And I heard some good reviews about those. So that was a real experience. I hope we can continue to do that and maybe potentially do state one year, because this was a regional event for smaller schools, but they do the state for concert band like they do for marching band. So I would love to see our schools and our bands be able to do that at some point. And then our color guard was state on Saturday, and they placed 16th out of 30. And the way that I would like to highlight the way that band and color guard works is, I feel like from what I've seen, every year the postseason has changed. The format, like they'll take it, for marching band, they'll take my freshman year, they only took like 10 bands. So last year, they only took 8, this year they took 11. For color guard, everyone goes to state. And in previous years, they just had finals and you placed. There was no like, you have to go to regionals to get there. And that was the same this year, except they combined all of the classes of the schools who weren't like extremely big. Or extremely small, and so there were 30 color guards competing, and top 15 went to finals. And I think there was like a half a point difference between them and going to finals. So for that format changing, like I'm extremely proud of those people and their members. They had a great show this year, and I would just like to commend them on that. Other than that, I'm receiving a Teen Impact Award. That's because like I'm not at help. I didn't get to go last year because I was supposed to perform there, and I was really excited about that. But I'm really excited. I love seeing all the videos from Annabelle on the Rotary Instagram. And I'm super excited to experience that. Yeah, sorry, that was a lot of rambling.
Okay. Anything else? All right, we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Superintendent Nielsen.
All right, thanks, President Wales, board members. I'll just touch on a couple of things you've already heard a little bit about. I wanted to highlight that one of our board members will be receiving a Teen Impact tomorrow night, but both of our students have a role tomorrow night. Annabelle has been really a lot of the marketing, and we'll see her work tomorrow night as she is working currently for Rotary. So that's a work experience for Annabelle, and someone participating in Rotary right now. I get to see her. She does a 2-minute tech tip with us every time we meet, which has been pretty interesting to watch just how much energy that drives. And I think in the near term, potentially a switch where Annabelle's going to do some tech support for Rotary up in the mountains, and their person's going to come support us. So that's a pretty cool opportunity for one of our students. And then obviously, with one of our board members being one of the 11 recipients tomorrow night, it's pretty exciting, I think, for us to celebrate. Welcome any of you to join us. I think some of you already have tickets, and any of you, if you'd like tickets, I think you can get them still at Rotary if you need some, or let us know and we can help. The advisory meeting you heard a little bit about, which was at Roosevelt Middle School last week, was interesting for me because my first experience in this district when I was just a hired superintendent, not working here yet, was to join the advisory meeting at Old Roosevelt High School about 2 years ago right now. And so to go back to that school to see the advisory meeting, but also to have Ms. Calvillo's students doing a lot of the work. They did the agenda for the night. They did flowers. They helped do the meal. It was cool to see, and I remember being struck the first time I came down with how far advanced this district is with CTE that reaches down to the middle school, and the connection between our middle school program and then our high school program. That is not the way it is most places. And that night was just another example of those entities coming together. The advisory boards are not just our high school staff, but our middle school and high school staff learning together and supporting each other. So that was a great, just a good night for us, I think, as a district. Board Member Proctor talked a little bit about the profile of a graduate. That had the main task that the DAC has worked on this year. We have planned to bring CEI, who's helped facilitate that, to the board meeting to do a work session with that in 2 weeks and to begin to talk about it. It's really, really, really close now to the final product. I think that DAC, when they got to see it Monday night, was excited about it. A lot of good feedback. We shared the work in progress with principals yesterday to get a little more feedback, and look forward to bringing that and unveiling that with our board officially 2 weeks tonight. So that's been, it has been a neat process. The feedback from the community has been whittled down to what the final product is, but you can still see all the feedback represented in the final product. And I think that was interesting I heard from a lot of DAC members how neat that process was, even though, as Amanda talked about, there was a lot of talking, kind of a lot of back and forth. As anytime you wordsmith, it is, that was another example of that. So that's there. And then I'd like to devote the rest of my time tonight to talk about the exchange and to allow the exchange to do a little celebration and an awareness for the board and anyone that's watching around what's really happening with our school store, the exchange. Because I think it was a vision of the board in the building of this building to have something that not everybody has. And I think what you'll find out tonight is that really the case. Ms. Stevens, are you still, you want to take it from here? Awesome.
So I'm Monica Stevens, and I'm the ACE teacher at Roosevelt High School. And this is Ziggy and Bella. They're both 9th grade students in our ACE program. So if you're not familiar with ACE, I did bring you guys some handouts I can pass around at the end. It stands for Alternative Cooperative Education. And the cool thing about our pathway is that it's not occupational specific. So what we do is we focus on building career readiness skills for any career. So students can really these skills and use them for whatever career that they choose to go into after graduation. So we do have a career technical student organization, and that is called SC Squared. So these guys are competing in SC Squared a week from Friday, and I think that they are going to introduce their project and then show you what they've been working on.
We are competing a week from Friday in the school-based business event.
We worked really hard to make our video about our school-based business, The Exchange.
Welcome to our school-based business, The Exchange at Roosevelt High School.
And this is a day for Theo Shaw.
Let's take a look at all the jobs in the store.
We use a point of sale system, so you can take both cash and credit card, and we run cash and invoices. This is the machine. Students use it to make different kinds of copies and portraits, and we learn the resources. Okay, this is the bins for the students to use so they can do things themselves.
The way that I look at it, there's a whole bunch of different types of employees that we have in school store. We offer on-the-job training for our students in the ACE program. So they get certified in their service safe. They get to work behind the counter, get trained on the express machine, our point of sale system. And then once the student has been enrolled in either our business or our ACE pathway for a period of time, and they have completed all their on-the-job training, they're eligible for a paid school store management position, which is run by the Well-Known 5-Year School District. Currently, we have 4 students that are paid for their employee positions in the school store, and everybody else who is getting on-the-job training gets a gift card that they get to use in the school store as a part of their payment.
Appreciate I've been working in the school store for 2 years, and all of our students have to have a food handler certification to work in the school store. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Stevens. I am the ACE instructor at Roosevelt High School, and my role is to help students get on-the-job training at ACE as well.
What are the main categories of merchandise in the store?
We have 2 main categories. One is food drinks, and the other is merchandise and swag.
What category of merchandise are you responsible for?
I'm responsible for the food and drinks part of the store. We have a variety of snacks, beverages, coffees.
About how much in sales is the store doing?
So we have grossed almost $84,000 since the beginning of the school year. About a third of that comes from credit card sales.
Sales is the store doing?
So since the beginning of the school year, we've grossed nearly $80,000 in sales. So about 2/3 that comes from credit card sales, and the other third comes from cash. And about 2/3 is food drink, and the other third comes from sale of merchandise and swag.
What happens to the profits of the store?
That's a great question. So the profits that the store makes kind of go to different places. We keep some reserves, so we have plenty of money to buy inventory from our other pathways that want to sell merchandise in the store. We also reserve money for repair and replacing equipment, and we use some of the money to fund our ACE program.
What type of demographic are our customers?
So our customers in the store are primarily students and staff during the school day, and after hours events, it is the community and parents who are our customers.
Let's take a listen to some of the student employees that have been impacted by the school store.
My name is Logan Chambers. I'm in 9th grade at Roosevelt High School. The thing that I like being in the store is working together with others.
I'm Tina Gums, and I'm one of the school exchange managers. And I've been working here for about a year, and the impact it has brought on me is built on my leadership skills. It also built up my confidence, and just like working with individuals in the school store has really built on my adaptability.
Look at what happened at the end of the day.
Thanks for joining us at Day in the Life of the School Store.
Question?
I do. Was that a Dirty Coke Zero that was being made?
That was, yeah.
Did you see that?
Or Dirty Dr. Pepper. They're very popular. Yeah.
That was really the only question I had. Well, I guess I do have a follow-up. Can I get one right now? I'd be willing to pay a premium for it.
Yeah, just a comment. So as a student at the exchange, I've seen it obviously since when it was first starting out, and she was playing around with the idea of you can offer drinks and food, to now I go in there pretty much every 5th block, get a drink. I know they've dealt with me ordering 4 drinks at a time, and the employees are always smiling, always excited. So I prefer definitely supporting you guys, and it's really, really incredible what you guys are doing and putting together.
How many students are in the ACE pathway?
have about 25 kids who are in the pathway in ACE classes, and then probably at least 10 to 12 more who are in work-based learning. So they're in that top level of ACE. So these were kids that went through the program and are now just in work-based learning in all different capacities. Thank you. With this.
I just have a comment when we talk about the ACE students. I really was in that video, so on that made me extremely happy. And I just love all the opportunities that kids get to get real world experience and working and responsibilities, financial management. Obviously, I don't know everything that happens in the store because my brother's not much of a talker when it comes to school. But I just want to say how amazing that is. It's a great opportunity for those kids and even like kids who just are doing the work-based learning part of it, to get that type of experience through your school is really unheard of. That's a great opportunity for all of our students.
I'd love to celebrate the collaboration. I think the thing that has been impressive for me, having come from another district where we sputtered over school store kind of opportunities. There's often fighting around who can do what, who gets profits. And the vision in this district was to have a place where our pathways could showcase, could prototype and show stuff that they're working on. Our accounting students could take care of the accounting. The collaboration, the vision, and ultimately to have a store inside our school that's going to do $100,000 of business, that's a real business. Yeah. So that it's impressive. And I love the idea that we've got students working there. And I also love that we've got students as managers in some sense there. So that's really cool to see what this building has done to bring that vision to life. It's pretty neat. So thank you, students. Thank you, staff. I know there's a lot of work that goes into that, but it is amazing to see the collaborative nature of what's being sold in there. And if you go back a year and see what was being sold in there a year ago to what's in there now, it's amazing to think about the growth that's happened in the short period of time in this building.
Yeah, I was, right before you said that, I was thinking, I was in there about this time last year, and I was there 2 or 3 weeks ago. We came in, we had a tour come through, and we wanted to show the exchange off, and I mean, I was just blown away by the number of products. And that's what's really exciting for me is, I mean, this thing is a success. And apart from just a little bit of seed money to get this thing started, I mean, that success, you guys built that success. And that's the hard work of the students. Granted, Ms. Borenson and Ms. Stevens are doing a little bit. I'm just going to say that. You can chastise me later. But I mean, really, it's the work of the students and the dedication that they're putting into it. That is exciting to me because, I mean, it's just true success. So good job, guys.
Good luck at the competition.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's do it. Let's bring them back up. Ms. Stevens, we bring the students back up and shake hands with our board.
Good job and good luck.
Thank you very much. You did good luck.
Good luck. This is a thank you phone.
Here, I'll give you a high five. Thank you. Thank you.
That's it for my report.
Any questions?
Well, I have an unrelated question that I just want to make sure is on our radar.
Yeah.
And I only thought of it because I drove over here this morning, or this afternoon. We're supposed to have a route installed over the summer out there, and I realize it's not in our hands, but if it doesn't hit that deadline, that part is in our hands. Trying to figure out how to have school if it doesn't happen. Do we have an update from the town? Do we know where that process is?
We do have an update from the town. We got some information just yesterday. We met, Mr. Benson, myself met with the town yesterday.
Okay.
We'll have a work session on that at our work session in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we'll update you on that and the status of it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments? I will move on to our consent agenda. Our adopted rules of parliamentary procedure provide for a consent agenda listing several items of the board for approval of the board by a single motion. Most items listed under the consent agenda have gone through board review and recommendation. Documentation concerning these items has been provided to all board members and the public in advance to assure an extensive and thorough review. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda by the request of any board member. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion.
I will move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Vice President Sassano, a second by Director Proctor. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Let's go on to our special business. Our first item is the Roosevelt Middle School request to attend the National FBL Conference. I'm guessing that's what it was.
Mr. Wales, yep, that's exactly what
Okay,
it is.
Mr. Nunley is gonna.
Mr. Nunley to come up.
Where would you like us? Or me?
Let's do it right on the television.
All right. As you know, Mr. Nunley, I'm the advisor for our Roosevelt Middle School chapter of FBLA. Some of our FBLA members here are in the audience that have qualified for nationals this year. On March 5th, we qualified, at the conference, we qualified 17 separate events. We have 15 middle schoolers who are able to go to the National Leadership Conference in Anaheim. So this would be the fourth year we've done this trip at the middle school level. It's a new city every year, but at this point, we've got down. So first and foremost, we're asking for permission to be allowed to take the middle schoolers out of town for a week with their parents' permission to Anaheim to compete nationals and enjoy some fun and educational stuff outside of FBLA while we're there. Second, we would also like to ask for some financial assistance in making that possible for these FBLA members and families, as it is not cheap to take them to Anaheim for a week. I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have. We may have turned in the numbers that were close to you already.
What kind of fundraising have you already done and what are you planning to do?
They're currently doing Mary's Mountain Cookies. We're actually turning that order in tomorrow. We secured a fundraiser that will take place in May through the Breeze Through Car Wash, where they've changed up their fundraiser a little this year, but they will match whatever patrons donate over a 2-week period of time up to $1,000 on top of us obviously getting whatever patrons donate. So social media campaign promoting that throughout the community around that time. They've also been doing the calendar donation, the pick a date donation that you can share with friends and family where they can choose June 5th and they give you $5. That can raise them each up to, I believe the total is $496. And next week, we're going to do a letter writing campaign to identify local businesses and do a letter writing campaign where the students are actually writing the letters and in charge of the follow-up and things of that nature, specifically for this trip. And then throughout the year, this year, we took over running all. We didn't necessarily run every concession stand, but we were in charge of the inventory, the accounting side of it, and splitting profits between whatever club ran it and us. So we started that this year. We ran the concession stands at all Roosevelt Middle School events, and we're actually hosting another track meet. They didn't mention it's the middle school league track meet we're holding here at Roosevelt, and the FBLA members and myself will be running concessions for that event as well as a fundraiser for it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You said 15 students?
15 total that are going. We had, I believe the total was 19 that could have gone. 19 of our 21 FBLA members could have gone to nationals this year. 4 of them had conflicting summer plans.
Sure, that's great.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? So, of the students you said are here tonight, can we hear what they competed in and what they're looking forward to?
Sure.
I would like to make a comment before they start. Annabelle and I went on the first national trip, and I just love how the fundraising has changed since, because we did like the calendar fundraiser, and everything. So I think it's really cool, all the stuff you guys are doing on concessions.
I'm Holly, and I applied first place at state for my community zero project.
My name is Vivian. I am our FBLA president, or I'm our chapter president, and I qualified in 2 events. I could have gone for my business ethics test, which I got third place in, or my exploring leadership test, which I got first place in. I'm going for my exploring leadership test.
I am Miley, and I qualified for my mixed marketing project. I got 5th place, but recently I got bumped up to 4th, so I didn't qualify for the national. I'm Ebony, and I qualified in first place for career research. I'm Shannon, and I qualified in both of mine. I got 3rd in exploring public speaking and 4th in exploring economics, the test. I'm Kid. I got 4th in business etiquette and lectures.
I'm Jaden, and me and Luke both, we were at a partner event, and we got 4th in website design. I'm Emma, and I worked with Jaden, and we did website design and we got 4th place.
Fantastic.
Let's do the.
Yeah, okay.
Let's vote first.
Okay, vote
Oh,
first.
right,
Unless there's more questions.
I know, I'm excited, I forgot all about. So yes, we do need to take action on the item. Looks like the ask is 5,500.
And also to approve that they get to go,
Right.
I move we approve their trip and the $5,500 project funding shortfall for FBLA to attend the nationals.
Second.
We got a motion by Director Musgrave, a second by Vice President Sassano to approve the out-of-state trip and the financial support for the trip in the amount of $5,500. Right, you're giving me the right, I mean, I'm looking for batting signals over there, like, okay.
That was pretty clear.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Ms. Diagana, would you please pull board?
Amanda Proctor,
Yes.
Steve Stefano,
Yes.
Dean Musgrave,
Yes. All right, let's
Cool.
bring that.
Now let's-
Since y'all said so much about the team.
Good job.
They're getting one too.
Good job. Good job.
Okay, hug and shake. Okay. Okay, which one? Okay. Thank you.
Congratulations, Coach.
Hug. You guys are amazing. There you go. Hug or handshake. Handshake, perfect. Handshake. Smelly, hug or handshake. A bow. Oh, an elbow bump. Okay. Yes. Thank you guys. Congratulations. Yeah, and we'll see you guys at the
I didn't have to do
I didn't have to do anything.
All right. Our next item of business is a consider of change order number 10 for the Randall Hess Stadium signage.
President Wales, board members, we've got Jacob's here tonight to help us with the next several items. So he'll be walking us through the change orders. I guess maybe before I turn it over to Jacob, I would put a plug in, Hayden talked a little bit about it, but the Randall Hess sign is sort of the finale of the board naming the stadium a year ago. And it will be in and ready to roll, and I think the building has some celebrations for the Hess family planned for Randall Hess Invitational, which is April 9th. I think President Wales talked a little bit about the size. Last I heard, it's 50 teams. It'll be here that week. And so when you think about what was taught earlier, right, is the design of the track is one part of 15s, but the other piece is the Bruce Plaza. When you come out and see where we're able to set teams up here, that's not always the case, that they have enough space, including track, to run it, and the way this track was designed is pretty special for events like Randall Hess Invitational, which we've hosted for a number of years, not in town, and so to have it back, this year sort of back officially, is exciting. So Jacob, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, so Amendment 25, CR 107, Randall Hess, and then CR 108, adding a transfer bill for that 11, after review with the district members. That's a pretty simple amendment. We're using some construction contingency, and then we're utilizing other funds that are remaining from our fund for both of those projects. I mean, it's all essentially, at this point with the status of RHS, AP is simply holding construction contingency so they can perform work for us and have a live contract, but effectively all that money is in the same pot now. Our best grants are not being completely used up. So, yeah. The remaining is bond granting.
Is the material the sandstone that the sign is being made out of, or is that just a material?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Those aren't cheap. Those rocks aren't cheap, are they?
No, they're not.
We
We need our own quarry.
It's gonna sit in the grass kind of behind the press box, right?
Yeah, it's, I mean, when you look at the price, it comes right, the sandstone is one piece of it, the engraving is another piece. But then you also, when you do you see rocks over, but this has been learning me, you gotta have it in the ground a certain amount of distance and.
Fall over.
And so, yeah, so it doesn't get knocked over, fall over, whatever. And then the landscape to finish it out. So it's all included in that.
Okay, and you said this is on contingency. It's not a change order to increase contract or anything?
It is effectively, but these are bond funds that we have remaining.
Thank you.
I move to approve change order 107 in the amount of $29,185.20.
I'll second. So we have a motion from Vice President Sassano, a second by myself, to approve change order 107. Any discussion?
Did you want to make the motion since it was Randall Hess?
No.
Okay.
You're fine. Hearing none, Jessica, would you please pull the board? Ms. Diagon, sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
You're both wearing blue today.
Well, we coordinate these things. Okay, and so we've got this other change order 108, the transfer drill. Any?
That's on the same amendment 20.
No, say that again.
So we don't need another motion for this?
Sorry, those two items, 107 and 108, are amendment 25.
Okay.
So they're lumped into the same change order.
Oh, so we have them as 107 and 108.
Oh. Gotcha.
I mean, I don't think it changes anything. I just
No, not clear. They're both here on the same piece.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't need this.
And they both total to the change of the 29,000.
That we already did? Okay.
Correct.
So we already approved.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So move on to amendment number 9 at MES.
Yes. So this one worked out quite nicely because we've been unable to use some of the intended best dollars for some design costs, but we want to utilize this best grants essentially. Money we can save to be utilized for projects. So if we can use it, let's do it. So we pull up the veterans list, which is a list of bad alternates that, if the budget allows, we can add that in later. So best was totally fine utilizing those. And then after speaking with the principals, making sure that that's where their priorities were. We're doing upgraded flooring in the ECE edition, which didn't get a whole lot of renovation in the first place. And then also adding voice lift systems throughout the school. Also the ECE, and then some additional microphones just for having those burn down over time, just to have something in stock.
I'm gonna ask the dumb question. So voice lift system, is that the intercom or is that something different? Like, I feel dumb, but I don't know what that means.
It's basically just speakers in the classroom. The teacher has a mic, makes it easier to project.
Okay, thank you.
It works really well. Yeah. Especially in those
Sometimes it's necessary. It's intended for folks who have hearing difficulties.
Right, but I know, like, my wife uses it.
Or has used it for folks that don't have hearing difficulties, that diagnose hearing difficulties. Let's put it that way. So it'll be advantageous.
Attention difficulties.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And so with that, this is increasing the contract by the full amount that's listed on this amendment line of $200.68.87. Now that does actually get us to max out our best grant, so it's cheaper.
Okay.
Maximize that best grant.
I will move to approve amendment number 9 in the amount of $200,968.87, bringing the project to $12,461,897.54. To be precise.
Second.
A motion by Vice President Sassano, a second by Director Proctor to approve amendment number 9 in the amount of $200,968.87. Any discussion, further discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Diagana.
Commissioner Proctor?
Yes.
Steve Sassano?
Yes.
Amy Musgrave? Yes. Michael Wales?
Yes. All right, then we move on to our consideration of a letter of proposal.
Do we have another amendment? Chance on the agenda?
I do not have one.
Is that the grill and fan?
No, it's not. Maybe that was why it got split up. But we do have an additional amendment for Roosevelt Middle School. I'm not sure what can be done about it at this point, but.
I don't know.
How urgent is it?
It would be good to get it done as fast as possible.
What is it?
Just additional items that AP is performing for us at RMS. Some of these items have been requested, some of these are fall construction contingency because they fall into that.
Yeah, without having the agenda, our hands are tied there. We do have a work session in 2 weeks. We could do a special meeting and do it then, or we could do it in a month at our next business meeting.
This is really just, AP already did the work. It's just paying them to do the work, right?
I have a contingency still, so it's not. Well, depending on when item was done, because some of these were requests, so that is an addition of the contract, but the same pot of money, we're all tracking all these to make sure we have enough funding for what we're doing. But yeah, if possible, in the next 2 weeks, it could be short and sweet.
Okay. I'll let you guys work with Jessica and Scott to do that. Okay, so now we're to the consideration of the letter of proposal for, and I think that's still you, isn't it?
Well, it's about Jacob. It's probably awkward for him to ask for, but
Okay.
we're asking to continue to work with Accenture as we bring on the MIS project. We work through culmination of the MIS project so that we have Jacob working as project manager, overseeing that. And that's his proposal, Accenture's proposal to do that for us. And I guess that's what I want to say.
Okay. Any questions or?
I don't have any questions. I mean, it makes sense. They've
They've done
seen
them all.
us through all the other projects.
Taken us all the way, so.
Why not continue, would be my thought.
Then just to be clear, we we're contracting this out because we don't have either capacity or expertise on staff?
It would be adding a lot to Josh, who's out for a period of time. It really becomes Josh, Donnie taking that on through the whole project without the specific expertise to do that, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I definitely think new tenant situation too in that facility, it doesn't hurt to have,
A neutral party?
yeah, somebody who can kind of dance through some of those.
Jacob
Did you bring your shoes? I think you already have to start dancing, man. Did you bring them?
We've had multiple discussions already. So we've gotten a lot coordinated. We've got a lot confirmed with the building official. Knows they have in the local area as to how we want to proceed. It's okay. So kind of a good plan. For sure.
You want to do it?
You can do it. You're fine.
Move to approve the fee proposal for the owner's representative services through Accenture Management.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Vice President Sassano, a second by Director Proctor to approve the fee, that's hard to say, fee proposal for the owner's representative services through Accenture Management. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Diagana.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, our next, thank you, by the way, Jacob.
Do you need to sign these pieces of paper?
Yeah, do I sign anything to get you out of here?
Just these two, I'll leave them with her.
Okay, okay. Our next item is the sale or permission to sell, dispose of unneeded or obsolete equipment.
President Wales, board members, I think Ms. Brist has been chomping at the bit tonight to talk, so he's excited to talk to you about some of the items that we are looking to move on from.
Mr. Everest.
Thank you, President Wales, members of the Board of Education, Superintendent Nielsen. First item is sale of some unneeded transportation, custodial, and grounds equipment the district currently has. The first items are 2 buses that have reached the end of their service life, and we would like to dispose of through I can't remember the name of the website, government deal website. And they'll just be sold to the highest bidder, bus number 20 and bus number 24. Then there's some custodial equipment that is essentially surplus equipment that the district no longer needs, just kind of due to the changes over the last 4 or 5 years in many of our buildings, the composition of many of our buildings. This equipment is no longer needed by the district. So
You need a Whirl-O-Matic floor buffer.
Mr. Rosemary and Mr. Miller are requesting to sell it. And then with grounds equipment, their reason for most of the requests to dispose of this equipment is there's been a change in environmental regulations about the use of gasoline-powered equipment versus electric or diesel-powered equipment. The district has a number of gasoline-powered pieces of equipment that we can no longer use as a school district. So Mr. Berry and Mr. Albert are requesting to be able to dispose of those. So this kind of concludes my presentation on this, and I can answer any questions the board may have.
You know what's interesting is I will almost guarantee you that the mowers will bring more money than anything else on this thing combined. I'm just always amazed at how the even used ones. The government deals, that's what we've been doing with buses for years now, isn't it?
Yes.
I thought I remembered that.
have a question. Did we start numbering our buses at number 1? So like, that's great. That's wild to me that by 2003, we only had bought 20 buses. Like in 40 years?
I don't exactly know. It kind of seems like that we recycle
Numbers? Okay, that makes more sense
I
then.
could be wrong, but I think that they do recycle.
Probably because they've got to have close to 20 in the fleet, don't they? I said they have to have close to 20 vehicles in the fleet, right? So.
All right.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that recycle would be, you know, in the hundreds by now.
Okay.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
A motion to, oh, mine has gone crazy. A motion to approve the seller disposal of district equipment as presented.
I have a motion by Proctor, a second by Vice President Sassano to, I did the same thing you did.
Did I?
Approve the sale or disposal of district equipment.
You linked on the wrong item.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Diagana.
Yes.
Yes. And our final item of special business is the request to increase the district's borrowing limit on the state cash flow loan program. Mr. Everest.
Again, President Wales, tonight I am asking the board to approve an increase in the amount we are allowed to borrow through the state's interest and fee-free cash flow loan program. Just a real brief overview. The district has been participating in the program since the 2019-2020 school year. We need to demonstrate need for the loan to the state through filling out reports monthly for the state. You know, again, the program is interest and fee-free for participating districts. Participation in the state loan program doesn't imply any type of financial peril or strain with the district. It just signifies a mismatch in the timing of cash that we receive and that we spend. The loan must be repaid by June 25th and is not long-term debt. So again, we need to update our resolution. The second bullet point that illustrates this, really the reason why we participate in the program in the first place is that we receive so much of our funding from local property taxes. You can see in calendar year 23, the split was about 38% local funded, 62% state funded. And then that more than flipped last year in collection year 2024, 3/4 local funded, 1/4 state funded. And then this year we're about 63% local funded, about 37% state funded. The state funding, we get that in 12 installments throughout the year. So if we were 100% state funded, we would need to participate in the program because, we would be getting equal distribution each month of our total program funding. Our local program funding, we get 95% of that in the months of March, May, and June. So right at the very end of our fiscal year is when we get our local share funding. So that's really the need. That demonstrates the need. And then also, we do have 2 LEOs that total $4.5 million. Those also come in March, May, and June. So we're really backloaded in when we get our cash, and we have to operate the district, for the 9 months before that. So that's where the need really comes from. The resolution amount, so currently we're authorized to borrow $15 million. And then it's really it's a little misleading to say that I'm asking to raise the borrowing limit because how the state program works, actually if we want to you want to go down to slide number 5, this illustrates it a little bit better. This is our history. So in the gray is what has already happened, and the 2 rows that aren't in gray are kind of the future projections that we're looking at. So, you know, as you can see, so in the loan balance column right now on March 27, we only owe the state $9.8 million. That's our loan balance right now. Because we have paid back, if you'll see on March 11, $0.5 million, and on March 25th, $150,000. That's basically our properties that we got. So, but as you see in the cumulative, so the borrowing limit is really the cumulative borrow limit. What I'm asking to raise, because as you can see, the cumulative borrowing limit, we're at about $13.6 million. And, you know, the last, you know, in April, you know, we're projected to need to borrow another almost $3 million, and that puts us at $16.6 million. So, you know, but our loan balance is still will still be 12.9. So it's just kind of, it's really just kind of the time of when, you know, cash outflows, but really it's the timing of our cash inflows. Because yeah, we get, you know, as you can see, we got, you know, about $4.2 million in March, which is great. But we get, you know, we get somewhere between $18 to $20 million in property taxes in the month. So, and again, May, you know, 2 months left in our fiscal year. So it's just really the timing of when our cash comes in. You know, so the best practice, you know, for this program is to ask for, you know, a little bit more than what you need. RBC Capital, and they're the organization that the state contracts with to administer this program for the state. They recommended us to raise our limit to $20 million to make sure that, you know, there aren't any hiccups, you know, but you know, currently I'm estimating, you know, about our total borrowing would be about the 16.6. So I guess in conclusion, so this administration is requesting the Board of Education to increase the disapproved borrowing limit from $15 million to $20 million for the state interest-free loan program. This concludes my presentation, and I can answer any questions for me now.
Any questions? Pretty straightforward. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the resolution increasing the borrowing by the district under the treasurer's school district interest-free loan program and authorizing execution and delivery of loan documents. Have fun with that one.
We have a motion by Director Proctor, a second by Vice President Sassano. Any discussion? What happened to Ms. Diagana? Ms. Kramer, would you please pull the board?
Amanda Proctor?
Yes.
Nate Sassano?
Yes.
Amy Musgrave? Yes. Michael Woods?
Yes. Do we have any citizen comments on general topics? Does not look like we do.
Would have to have some citizens first.
Well, yeah. But, somebody may have let her in. I never know. Can't rule it out. Okay, we do need to go into an executive session. So I do want to clarify on the record that the Board of Education has issues to discuss in executive session as follows. Pursuant to Colorado Statute 24-6-402 sub 4 sub F, for the purpose of discussing personnel matters, specifically the superintendent's evaluation, and pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes 24-6-402 sub 4 sub E, for the purpose of discussing and determining positions concerning matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and instructing negotiations, specifically with respect to the terms of the superintendent's employment contract. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
We have a motion by Director Proctor, a second by Vice President Sassano. Any discussion? Ms. Diagana, would you please poll the board?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So we will have Superintendent Nielsen, Director Proctor, myself, Vice President Sassano, and Director Musgrave will be in the executive session. And we'll go ahead and recess from the general meeting or regular meeting as we prepare to move for the executive. All right, it is 9:14 and we are adjourned.